If buying courses were the thing that made us wealthy, then most of us would be there already. I know I would. I've definitely bought enough of them. I already talked about this subject a little bit in the video where I talked about how AI might replace coaches and courses, which I don't actually think is wholesale true, but I think I also made a lot of good points there. You can go check it out if you would like. Just the other day, I was scrolling through Facebook and I saw one of those ads for a finance course. So, one of those ones that says, hey, you know, the system, it works this way. I wish it didn't. I wish the system was fair. I wish our economy was different and it worked differently. But well, capitalism is what it is, and so I want women to know the rules of money and capitalism so that they can have more wealth because good things happen when women have more money. Okay, great. And so I signed up for the master class and I watched it just kind of out of curiosity. I was cleaning my house and just kind of wanted to see, how does this land for me now? Because as I said, I was a person who bought course after course after course, and I've also invested in coaching, all of the things. And none of it really brought me to a place where I truly felt grounded and in control of money and resourced and wealthy. And so I wanted to see, now that I feel like I have gotten to the point where I feel a lot more grounded, and I will get to that in a moment because what it had to do with was not courses. That's the whole gist of this video. Courses don't change you. Changing your behaviors changes you. And importantly, staying with yourself and staying with it when things feel difficult and tedious. And it's going to take figuring it out yourself and actually trying things. It's not about learning more things. If you're new to this channel, I'm Erin Bex. I like to talk about the big picture of what infinite and amazing creators of reality we are, but at the same time, the practical realities of life, getting into the nitty-gritty details. And I like to share the tools that have been helpful to me. One of my favorites is the bullet journal, but I have a bunch of other methods and tools that I like to share on this channel about organization and staying grounded while you are creating, manifesting your desired reality and the reality that honestly we really want to see on this planet. So back to me listening to this masterclass. If you've seen this enough times, from taking courses, from watching master classes, and for me lately it's been watching a lot of commentary type YouTube videos about MLM pitches. Go check out my girl Hanna Alanzo if that sounds interesting to you. It's actually pretty pretty cool. But you see it actually over and over again. Here is how it works. You say, oh, here is so and so. She used to be $40,000 in debt and now she makes millions of dollars. And, we're not going to say the time frame, how long it took her to turn it around. And, it's going to show you all of the things that you're like, oh yeah, that's me. I'm like that. I have trouble sticking to a budget. I have trouble understanding where has all my money gone. I'm making more money and I get a better job and I make even more money and yet I still don't have any money. Why? Why is this happening? So I think a lot of people can relate to that, and that's why it's effective in this sales pitch, right? I won't bore you with detailing the whole structure, but you've seen it before. Then it's like, now we have this roadmap for you where you start here, and then these are the steps to getting to over here, where we are. You want to be where we are in this place of financial abundance, right? And here's how you're going to do it by learning about investing and all of this stuff. And right now, our course is 50% off. What a great deal. It only costs $2,000 if you pay all up front, but of course you can finance it and then it will cost you more like $3,500. And there you go. And then we have all these wonderful testimonials that say, thank God I didn't wait. And thank God I didn't, wait too long and check in with myself and check in with whether this is actually right for me. And I just buy the course. Okay, first I want to say right up front that I'm not anti-buying courses ever. I'm just offering you a perspective from a person who's bought so many of them and has seen that they, generally speaking, did not create any real meaningful change in my life. What actually created change in my life was taking time to sit with myself in silence and really start to trust myself and to start to trust in life. When you do that and you have a consistent practice of doing those things, and then look at the details of your life as it is right now. Let's keep talking about the financial situation. So if I say, okay, well, what's going on actually with my finances right now? For a really long time, if somebody had asked me, well, what's your profit margin in your business? I wouldn't know. I would not know because I didn't know how much money I made. I didn't know how much money I was spending. I didn't know what I was spending my money on. It's not that I couldn't find these things out. I could, but I didn't have it top of mind because I hadn't really been paying attention to it. I hadn't done the details or the process of organizing that for myself. And so that's where I started. It was like, okay, what's this niggly problem that I've got going on in my life right now? Well, here's one. Boy, it's really annoying when a bill comes up and I didn't know about it. Or I should have known about it. Of course, some level, I was notified, I had email, it's something that's a recurring payment, but I forgot. So how can I solve this problem? It's actually just really basic. I know for me, the solution was that I put all my bills into Google Calendar and all of my credit card payments, and I put them in there as both tasks and events. So I need the events because I need it to be able to send me reminders, but the tasks allow me to check it off the list. Okay, I already made that payment this month, because sometimes I would, make them ahead of time. If you want to know more about that specific system, I made a really super long video about my whole organization system as it stands right now, and it's always an evolving process, and you can check that out in the link below. And in the past, I've also subscribed to $30 a month budgeting software, but that didn't work for me either because it just seemed like really difficult to constantly be babysitting that thing and getting all the budgets to balance. And I have 4 different bank accounts because I have 3 different businesses plus my personal account. And it was just a lot. It didn't work for me to do it within that structure. And if anything, it just caused stress to know that I'm paying $30 a month for this thing and then not really utilizing it. So here's the thing. What actually changed my relationship with money? What took me from fear and uncertainty and constantly feeling like I was blindsided by bills and constantly feeling like I couldn't save anything at all and constantly thinking like, oh my gosh, if I just had more money, I'd be able to pay for all these things, is to stay with myself even when things feel tedious. It's really just getting organized. It's getting organized first. I'm not saying don't learn about investing. I'm not saying don't learn about saving and all of those things. But the truth is that you just need to start with where you are right now in any situation in your life. And with tools like AI, especially coming on strong, when you run into a snag, you can ask AI for advice. You can go search on YouTube. You can search Reddit. Reddit has been a hugely helpful resource for me. You can ask questions on Reddit and have people answer your specific questions. You can read books. You can do so many things besides buy a very expensive course that teaches you about money if money is an issue for you. I just want to name this pattern because I'm sure that some of you can relate, which is that buying a course to solve a problem in your life feels productive. It gives you that dopamine hit, like, yes, now things are going to change because I'm going to have this step-by-step formula and I'm just going to follow it. I really am going to do it this time and I'm going to change my life. It feels productive and it's easier than sitting with yourself and sitting with the actual details of what's actually going on in your life as it is right now. In other words, it can be a way of even avoiding doing the really basic thing that is oftentimes pretty obvious. But Erin, we buy courses because I don't know anything about investing. I don't know anything about, whatever it is that I'm buying a course on. This person obviously has been successful at it, so why don't I just hit the easy button and learn from them? And then I can get there that much faster. And then this course will pay for itself, right? That's a language we hear so much, right? Don't we? We hear invest in yourself. This course will pay for itself. Look, this testimonial said that thank God I didn't wait and I just, this course paid for itself. Just pause for a second. I'm always talking on this channel about how moving slowly is going to be the more efficient way. I've just seen this over and over again in my own life. And it's been honestly the hardest thing for me because as I said, I had a pattern of doing this, a pattern of saying like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna, buckle down and do it and I'm gonna get there so much faster. But the thing is, it's not the learning of things that changes you. It's the trying things. You might have to try something and you might say, okay, this kind of worked, but something about it didn't work. Like, for example, I had, it took me a while to get this whole, even the bills on my Google Calendar thing down. I'd be like, oh, whoops, there's a bill that I forgot. I've just got to, how can I make sure that I am not surprised by that again in the future? Well, firstly, if I haven't already added that to my calendar, I need to add it. If I have it on there, but I don't have an alert, then I need to add an alert. If I have all of those things and I just didn't see it for some reason, why? Why did I not see it? Why was I unaware that this was happening? Maybe I just need to then develop a habit of doing a financial check. And part of that is looking at the calendar. And then I write that task down in my bullet journal every single week. So this is trying things and iterating and more or less figuring it out yourself, asking questions as they come up. So this is the painfully basic shift that really, for me, took me from being a person who just was always just kind of like, didn't know if I was going to have enough money. It was like, okay, great, I got a lot of money in my business this week or this month, and hopefully it will happen next week or whatever, to, okay, I'm looking at how things are right now, and now I confidently know when I have the money to pay all of my bills and my expenses, to pay myself, meaning put money in an emergency fund, and to pay off my credit card debt, because that's the phase that I'm currently in right now, is paying off credit card debt. But the thing is, I'm not relaxed because I ignore the money. I'm relaxed because it's just not vague. It's not like something that is this nebulous thing out there. The painfully basic shift was just going from, okay, how can I make more money? And how can I just be bringing more money in? And just how can I manifest more money, change my money mindset? And let me look at all these step-by-step, processes and courses, and then I will have the answer. The basic shift was going from, while I'm doing all of that busyness, not really having a good handle on what is actually happening right now. And now that I am in that place, I just find that I tend to naturally, I still have a very variable income because I have 3 businesses. I have 2 Airbnbs and a modeling business. I only have so much control over how much money comes into those businesses at any point. I can't make people book photo shoots. I can't make people book my Airbnb. I can do those businesses the best that I can. I can take actions that I believe will lead to more bookings. But more so, it's about looking consistently at the inflow and outflow of money, looking a few weeks ahead, of what is coming into all of my various businesses and looking at all of the bills that I have to pay, including making the payments that I want to on my credit card debt, which of course also took just organizing it all. Just let's actually look at all the cards, all the balances, all the minimum payments that I have to make, all of the interest rates. How much am I spending in credit card interest every single month? And I tell you, when you just look at it and you do the tedious work of looking at it, then what happened for me is that I just had so much less desire to spend money on things that could wait or that honestly I didn't really need at all. I I had so much more desire to just embody and be the person who takes care of the real bills and the real adulting on time every time. What didn't take me from being constantly anxious about money to being somewhat relaxed about money is a step-by-step system or a budgeting software or a complicated framework or really more knowledge at all. And here I want to address that inner resistance that you can have come up when you really sit down to look at these things. It's tedious, it's boring. You might feel a little bit like you don't know if putting in all of this time and effort is actually going to lead you anywhere. Like, how is putting all my finances into a spreadsheet actually going to make me more money? And why do I have to do this? It's that petulant inner child voice that like, oh, this is so boring. All of my friends are out there doing other more fun things. This person that I see on the internet's just raking in millions in passive income. When am I going to be able to do that? If I had more money, I would just pay somebody to do all of this for me. And so I just had to stay with myself, stay with that inner voice, even that one that's complaining. Firstly, know that that complainer that's in there, that's, it's a good sign. It's often, I've come to see that as a good sign that like, oh yes, this is what's coming up and coming out, because it's something that's kind of been hidden in there this whole time that I've been avoiding. And now that we're really looking right at it, it's getting louder and louder. And that just, it's part of the process of growth. So see it as a good sign. Take some time, take a break, of course, take an intentional rest, not a scrolling rest, not a comparing with other people who seem to be just doing it better than you type rest, but take a walk, take a bath, and then put in your schedule or your bullet journal to continue doing this task tomorrow or at a later time. What you're doing is you're just creating this cycle of keeping promises to yourself, that you're showing up for yourself and you're really accomplishing your goals. And gosh, honestly, don't really love to use the word goals because, I don't know, it's a little bit affected, that the word like, oh, your goal. But I mean, you are accomplishing what you really do want to do for yourself. What I like to do is think of it like, I love myself enough to do this. And I try to check in with myself about that with every single task that I put on my list, even if it's not really that fun and enjoyable. I love myself enough to get clarity about my finances. I love myself enough to pay my emergency fund first before I buy any more fast fashion clothes or something like that. What I want to leave you with is that the more you do this, you actually do the tedious things, do the boring things, look at the things in your life as they are right now, the less you live in some imagined future state and you just stay with yourself right now, the more you just build this trust. There is that manifestation part, which is real. Like, I certainly believe that we have the power to create the reality that we want in our lives. But I don't think that we do it by ignoring, and you hear this a lot, be delusional, ignore your current reality. You don't completely ignore what's going on. It's more that you don't identify with it. You don't have to look at your current state of finances and identify that as who you are. So to wrap all of this up, the main point that I want to make is that not that courses are bad or that you should never buy them, but that a lot of the time purchasing courses that offer you a step-by-step process to get from your undesirable present moment situation, circumstance to a more desirable circumstance, such as not having enough money and being in financial chaos, to being in financial abundance and clarity, that what's really behind that a lot of times is putting the power outside of you. Instead, when you start to take these small and practical steps for yourself every day and you just try things and you see where, how does this land for you? Is it working out for you? Is this actually helping you to have more clarity and feel more grounded and trusting in yourself and trusting in the world and your reality? So the more that you do this, the more you will build that trust. And then the more that I have that trust, this is what I've noticed, the less I seek it out. I just don't really feel like I need it. I don't really, the charge and the urge to go spend money on another course just isn't there, because I trust myself to figure it out. And I know that I kind of have to do it my way, and I have to do it the way that works for me. And yes, I will find advice from other people as I need to along the way. We'll ask AI, ask ChatGPT about it if I have a question that I feel can be helped with AI. But ultimately, I just have less of a desire to do it. And so that's the path of trusting your own inner guidance and staying with yourself and keeping promises to yourself. Because the version of you who has that desired result is not ignoring your current reality. You're here, you're present, you're looking right at it. You know it's not you, whether it's good or bad. None of these identities are you. That's the thing, to the deeper truth underneath it all. You're not the emotions, you're not the wealthy person, you're not the broke person, you're not the single person, you're not the married person. You're none of those. And so knowing that you are this pure unadulterated consciousness, but also knowing that you live in this reality of practical matters, it's safe to look at where you are right now and to know that it will change, and it always changes. And yeah, there's no danger in just being present with where you are right now. So I want to know from you, I'm curious who out there listening has had this experience of buying lots of courses and you're just kind of like getting to a point of these things haven't helped me in the way that I really thought, and now I'm ready to just kind of take more practical, slow life type actions. Drop a comment in the comments below, and I will talk to you next time.